Welcome to The Kingstonian, a podcast that profiles individuals who are passionate about what they do for a living, about what organization they belong to, or simply passionate about the community they are a part of. Hello there, and welcome. My name is Dave Cunningham. Today, a conversation with a man passionate about singing, and he's been doing it all his life. These days, his passion is the Kingston Townsmen Chorus and the Perpetual Emotion Quartet. Our guest is Len Matiowsky. Len, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Dave.
I have spoken with various singers, songwriters on this particular program, and I have been amazed at how confident they are when they get up there with just them and their guitars and sing. You guys sing without any instruments, so it's just either a big chorus or a quartet. How did this whole business of getting into that kind of singing start for you?
Well, for me personally, I started as a youngster. My father and mother were wonderful singers in their own right. Dad was a lovely bass, and Mom had an alto voice. And I come from Slavic traditions, and so singing was very much a part of a church activity. Apparently, I was on stage as early as 4 years of age doing recitations, and I started singing soon after. And for the longest time, I would sing melody because that's what everybody does. You sing melody of a song you really like. But then, singing with my father, he would be singing bass in the church choir, and once I got of age where I could sing voices other than something really high, I joined my father. And we sang harmony in the church choir in Ukrainian. That was my original language of ability. And so we would sing in Ukrainian, and I so loved it. It's something that because you grew up with it, it really became a part of my life, my culture, very much. I've sung in numerous choirs since, Ukrainian choirs, English choirs. And the voicing, you learn to do that. It's you hear the harmony and you learn to fall in love with it. And by that relationship, harmony is so beautiful.
So you've been singing a cappella basically all your life?
All my life.
Yeah.
I have never, I should never say never. I have sung once in a country western band, with accompaniment, but for the majority of singing that I've done, it has been a cappella.
Now, barbershop is a style of singing that's been around a long time, and it doesn't seem to go away. It just seems to be there. And why don't you describe what barbershop singing is to those people who may not really know?
So barbershop singing really started in the Americas, in North America, predominantly in the U.S., in barbershops. It was a form of close harmony that people started what we call woodshedding, that one person would start singing a melody, the other person would start singing another harmony. Most of these barbershops were filled with men, and so they all started making these harmonies. It's very much a African American tradition. That's how it started, and over time it evolved into something that I think was a tradition, especially back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, where barbershop became very commonplace. And you'll find that many people of upper age are familiar with it. Not only familiar with it, surprisingly, will sing the songs with you. I've surprised myself by singing to my mother some of the songs we were doing, and she knew each of the pieces. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about barbershop is that it continues to evolve. There's this perception that barbershop is somehow like the poor second cousin to classical choral music. And nothing can be further from the truth. It is probably one of the most challenging forms of music you can sing because of close harmony. But
it's got a very defined style.
It has a very defined style, but it's I'd like to say it's evolving. It's evolving as part of any form of music. Every musician you've spoken to or you've heard of, like David Bowie, how many times did he recreate himself over the years to essentially adapt to, the world as it was at that time? We're no different. We're singing 2000, 2010 music that's converted into our style. And I think if there's any one thing common with barbershop singing is that we focus on fifths and sevenths a lot. That tends to be an area where we will dominate when we're singing a cappella music.
Fifths and sevenths?
And don't ask me to describe it. That's like director speak, and that's beyond me. I'll just tell you, that's what they tell me.
Okay. If you're talking about the quartet and you are a member of the Perpetual Emotion Quartet, which is a part of the Kingston Townsmen, we have lead, tenor, bass, and baritone.
Correct.
Describe to me what those four individuals would be doing in the context of singing.
Sure. The lead always sings melody, for the most part. 90% of the time, 95% of the time, the lead will sing melody. The bass will always sing below lead, and is providing that harmony support with the foundation, if you will. The tenor will always sing above, for the most part, above lead, singing the tenor often in head voice. That head voice is, if you know, I can't describe it, but it's like falsetto. Some people know it as falsetto, where you're singing in the head voice. The purpose of the baritone, and it's a part that I sing, is to fill in the gaps. And my wife always says, when I'm practicing at home, she would prefer I stop, because it makes no sense, or doesn't often make sense, because you're filling in the holes left over by those three who have created this piece of music. I complete the chord as the baritone. So I like to think of myself as a prima donna. Unfortunately, nobody else believes that or will agree with me. But all the same, the baritone part completes the chord.
Let's compare this. You mentioned you were in a country band for a while back then. If I think of quartets, I think of the Oak Ridge Boys, and I don't know if you're familiar with their music.
Very much.
So they've been around for a long time, and they have defined roles in the context of the songs that they do. How would you compare what a group like the Oak Ridge Boys would do to what a barbershop quartet would do?
There's really little difference. There's really little difference. They're providing harmony support to someone who's singing the melody.
Right.
There's always one person within that group who generally will sing melody. And most of the time you'll know who that person is. But there is very little difference. And in fact, some of these organizations have not memberships, but honorary memberships, if you will, with the Barbershop Harmony Society, which spans all of North America and now into Germany, Australia, and a few other locations.
Okay, Len, let's talk about the Kingston Townsmen Chorus. Give us a thumbnail sketch of the history of this particular group.
One of my favorite topics. I have been a member of the group for probably somewhere in the vicinity of 10 to 12 years. I love singing with these guys. They have evolved like many other groups, starting off as the Cataraqui Townsmen. Over time, evolved into the Kingston Townsmen. Been together for 30 to 40 years. We have singers who have been singing barbershop for as long as 61 years. We have one gentleman who is just over 90, and he celebrated his 61st anniversary of being a member of the Barbershop Harmony Society. The Townsmen have evolved over the years, different directors, different looks, different feels, and they've sung more traditional barbershop music. But we too are evolving. We're starting to do adaptations of newer pieces. Some pieces we've sung, by people that have been long gone. Other pieces where people are still around. We really enjoy the creating that environment. And I think if there's any one thing about barbershop harmony, it's in terms of performance, is very close to musical theater, where you create the emotion, you emote the things that you're trying to say, and with movement. So it's not stationary. And of course, we don't have sheet music in front of us. Every piece that we do is memorized. My quartet, we probably have 40 to 50 pieces that we've memorized over the span and can generally sing them off at any given time. So the chorus is no different. Sometimes we have to revive a piece of music. We've been away from it for a while. But The group has somewhere in the vicinity of 35 members, and we're growing. We decided 3 years ago, that we would hire a director as opposed to simply developing a director within. And it has really changed. It has changed the dynamics of the chorus. It has changed the goals of the chorus and the things that we want to do. We competed in Belleville, Ontario, with the Ontario district of the Barbershop Harmony Society, and we achieved the most improved chorus. We achieved first place in our size of chorus, and we were second place overall. And that was an achievement that I think exemplifies where this chorus is going. Our real goal is not to compete necessarily. Competition is a ways and means of achieving the goal that we're really looking for, and that is excellence in harmony.
So if you have a chorus, normally speaking, would most choruses have a professional director, or do most of them groom somebody from within?
Yeah, I think it starts, generally most choruses have a director that they've groomed within. But one of the challenges with barbershop harmony is that it like many things is evolving, and we're no longer getting the numbers necessarily of people who can evolve into a directorship position. And also for having that professional ability of a barbershop director or a choral director directing barbershop, is that they inherently understand the creation of harmony, but also be able to tell the story of what the song means. Because it's not just simply singing what you see on the paper, but it's delivering the performance to create the scene behind that piece of music.
How easy is it to find a choral director?
Not that easy. It's tough to find a choral director. It's doubly difficult to find a choral director who understands barbershop harmony. So, and when Andrew Carolyn came along, he came from Australia looking to integrate into the Barbershop Harmony Society in North America. And he was coming to Kingston. We were so fortunate to have somebody of his caliber come to our city. We found out that he was coming, and so through a little bit of strategic investment, he agreed to come join us. I believe that it's his effort that led us to become the most improved chorus last year. Now we're in the position where this year our goal is to be the most improved chorus again. That is a double challenge, because now we have to deliver a performance that is well over and above what we did before. But I think we're getting there through coaching, through bringing on an assistant director as well to work with Andrew, and I believe that we're going to impress anyone who has a chance to hear what we do.
As I was noticing in something I read online about the Townsmen, is that instead of having a guest night where you invite people to come in to find out more about the Townsmen, you organize learn to sing programs to attract people so that they're doing something the first night they're there. So describe that briefly.
So the guest nights are things that we do. It's almost like an open rehearsal. We do 2 open rehearsals a year. We may scale that back depending, but we do 2 open rehearsals a year. And that evening, we'll do a range of things. We present what barbershop harmony is. We sing to show those who are in attendance, this is what we do. Then what we do is that we teach them a short piece where they actually get to participate in creating that ring. It's hard to describe it any other way, but a ringing a chord is a common phrase within our genre of music, because this ringing creates the harmonic, And that harmonic we often refer to as a ring. In any event, we give the gentleman the opportunity to hear what that's like, not only to hear it, but hear them producing it and being part of a group. And so by having this firsthand experience, we are reminding them that you are capable of doing this. This is not something, it's not rocket science. We are an audition chorus. And so the expectation is that once you're in, you'll have the opportunity to sing with a quartet in time, essentially to demonstrate that you can hold your own as one part of the chorus.
And that will wrap up the program today. Len, thank you very much for coming in.
It was absolutely my pleasure.
If you'd like more information on the Kingston Townsmen, call 613-777-8188 or go to their website at www.kingstontownsmen.com. Theme music for the program is Stasis Oasis, a tune written and performed by Kingston musician Tim Aylesworth. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about any of our episodes, please send a note to the Kingstonian Podcast Facebook page. This is Dave Cunningham from Kingston, Ontario. Thank you for listening. Until next time.